It is Friday. We're back. Good afternoon, everybody, peeps. And hello, Reverend Tony. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, my dear?
Oh, mon ami, mon beautiful
Oh,
day. Good to see you.
it's glorious here. It's absolutely lovely.
Good. Well,
Really is good.
it's been persistently
Mm.
piddling it down here.
It was persistently raining here as well earlier, but it seems to be nice. And Michael said, "Be careful because you may not get on because we're forecast thunder and lightning." And
Oh,
look, it's glorious. Look,
yes. We
and
did, I will admit, have thunder earlier.
oh, we haven't had thunder here. We had absolutely, like you say, persisting raining, but it was lovely. Good afternoon, Reverend Nick, Facebook user Dawny Walden, and Jennifer Sedman.
Excellent.
And Dawny says we've had
They've
thunderstorms.
had
Oh,
thunderstorms too. And yes, hello to whoever Facebook user is. There's just been a hailstorm in Shropshire, Jennifer says. Wow.
lovely, lovely. Mm, the weather just does not know what it wants to do at all.
Exactly.
Oh,
And
hi, Charlene.
hello, Charlene. Good to
Yay.
see you. Thunderstorms there too. Well,
And that,
hello to everyone. Get
yeah,
commenting because you're going to
yes,
be leading the conversation. Don't forget.
yeah, you are. Definitely. Hi, Nick. Because I was just saying to Nick earlier, ain't got nothing. Nada.
No.
Zip.
It's
Oh, dear.
definitely time for our stepping in with philosophy from spirit. Ah, tis
Chrissy.
Trace. Tis Trace,
Ah,
Facebook user Tis Trace.
just Trace.
Chrissy.
Ouch. Ouch.
Mm, I can
I,
imagine you can appreciate the cold today.
yeah,
Definitely.
when I had it, well, when we had it, Michael and I, two of us having it at the same time in the same household was really bad because it was like the dogs need to go out. No, I can't.
No, no. And then you flip it up, and then in Scotland, tis gorgeous bikini weather. Hello, Kaz.
We'll be in the car
Yeah,
heading to
definitely.
Scotland.
And hello, of course, to Charlene. And in Bedford, this is Trace.
Yep,
Thunder. Hello,
lovely.
Leslie.
Hi,
Leslie,
darling.
how you diddling? How you diddling?
Lovely.
Wow,
Everybody. It's
it's
amazing.
I know. And for those that weren't watching last night, boy, did you miss a treat. We had an excellent medium last night.
Yeah,
He was very
hey,
good. He was
I
very good.
heard, I've heard mixed reports myself. Some say it was absolutely fabulous. Others say it was just really great. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Jill Tipple, beautiful blue skies. Where are you, Jill? Would be curious to know.
Yeah. Just bob in the comments where you all are. It'll be lovely to see you.
Because let's be honest with you, the closest we've heard decent weather is currently up near Dundee. So, um,
Yeah, it's a bit far,
no.
really.
Yeah, that is the problem with rain when it is. When it is really really horrible weather and it gets warm and humid, it really does blast you. But Tony, you're in the wrong place.
I know,
The
I
beautiful
know.
blue skies are in Rotherham.
Yeah, we'll be
There we
back
go.
Sunday.
There we go.
Back up
So
Sunday.
let's make it quicker for all of us. There you go, Kaz. You can meet us in Rotherham. It's more or less halfway.
Yeah, yeah, there we are. There we are. Oh, we did have nice snails. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Been going round.
Yes,
Yes, yes. We we love nails. We love nails.
absolutely. It's great to be back on and saying hello to everyone. Today is, of course, our conversation with
Mm.
philosophy and spirit, and it is indeed led by the community, your wonderful selves. Now, there's a name I ain't seen in a while, and it's good to see. Hello, Daniela.
Yay!
See you.
Oh, Claire, don't tell me things like that, darling. These are nail gels, and they keep having like 30% off sales and things across the website, and it's like, no.
Just before it disappears off the screen, Tony, get your bookie up here.
Oh dear.
And another one who was very pleased to see you working last night. Lovely Shelley, good to see
Oh
you.
yeah.
And I showed you two things before the show, and I can't say anything else.
No.
I showed you two things, but
you did. Yes. Oh, hi, Eunice.
Hello, and I'm assuming Mr. T is with you as well. The other Tony. See, this is where it gets confusing on a Thursday night because I keep going to call her Tony Spinks. I keep going to call him Reverend Tony.
Yeah, no, not good. Don't do that. Oh dear. Anne-Marie sat in her office having a bit of a chill time.
And
yeah, and you need the nails done.
Yes. And hello to Jen. So
Cheryl.
Got to behave myself. My cousin's on. Hi, Cars.
Behave yourself. How do we do that? How? It can't be done.
Yeah.
Can't be done.
Not happening. So, obviously, I know what you were up to last night.
Yes.
What have you been doing the rest of the week, love?
We've been chilling at the caravan, babysitting mummy-in-law, who's just sat opposite reading a third book of the holiday.
Wow. Hello, mother-in-law. Good to see you again.
Nick says hello, Irene.
Hello, say hello.
And yeah, just distressing and basically putting the world to rights, getting things in train for next week for the Rainbow Project. And that's it, really. That's it. And getting ready for tomorrow's big event.
Yes. It's taken its time to come around, obviously. Because let's be honest, in how many other jobs do you get promoted when your mum passes the spirit?
I know.
We have to consider that, regardless of what people's opinion is with or without the monarchy. This is a guy who's lost his mother to get the top job that he's been waiting 70 odd years to get.
I know. It must be a bit of a mixed blessing thing of, I want the job, but what does that mean? It's very, very odd, and I can't imagine being in that position where to get the job you're destined for, your mum's got to basically pass away, and that must be heartbreaking, because tomorrow will be a celebration of the fact that his mum's died and he's got the job.
And that's got to be in the back of his head,
Yeah, because somebody said something this morning about the girl. It was a lady in Scotland who had watched the original coronation, sat in a friend's house with 20 other people, crammed around a 9-inch TV watching these grainy pictures. And she was on about the symbolism of the gold coach. And she said, but I can't imagine what's going to go through his head tomorrow when he's going back to Buckingham Palace in the coach that his mum was in 70 years ago, almost to the day. And it's got to be there. And I hadn't thought of it until she said it, and I thought, wow. It's not good. And King Charles, I've just seen Anne-Marie's comment, King Charles got his job at the age when most men are retired and putting their feet up. You're right. You are right.
Absolutely, yes. So, certainly I will be putting my feet up and actually watching the coronation with a bottle of Pepsi Max and a bag of chips, because Nigel's out. So
Oh,
I shall be having the place to myself. I have just got to before we've actually got a really good question.
I've just spotted it. Yeah,
I
spotted it.
have
Turned
starred it,
blue
so
because you've starred it.
yeah. But I do just have to reference two things regarding my week.
Yes, I was going to follow that up
Oh
with.
no, because I just want to slip through it and forget about it. Is the honest truth.
Yeah.
Firstly, I behave like an. For those that are Star Trek fans and have watched Picard, I have behaved like a dipshit most of my life, and particularly in front of my mother. So nothing's ever stopped me, Dawn. But you've guessed it. What has Nick spent most of his week doing? In his bedroom with all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
yeah. It
Yeah.
really is. That is pretty much it. Obviously, I've been working with people and on things that I wouldn't discuss publicly. But yeah, it's been busy and it's been uplifting. But also there's been a lot of emotion involved.
Mm.
Quick question for you.
The Rainbow Project is on, and I believe they are planning something. With us being down here, we haven't really been involved in conversations, but I've no doubt there will be events happening and things going on at Wath Hall tomorrow. One till people shut up and go home.
I like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start saying that on a Thursday night for church. Yeah, the last service before we went, back to Chateau Del Nick and the Boudoir Del Brown. The last people left at 11 p.m.
Wow. Wow, that's late.
Usually it's me that keeps ranting, but actually it wasn't this time, and it was brilliant. And yes, I agree. Stop biting your nails, love.
Yeah.
So, shall we address our first question, darling?
Go for it. Go for it.
From Kaza. And it is
Yeah.
a really good question, I have to say. Is it depending on your religion if you are scared of dying, or is it an individual thing? Thoughts, Reverend?
My thoughts are it is an individual thing. It's got to be, because I've spoken to people of all religions and creeds and everything else. And some of them, even if they don't believe in our way of life, they believe they are going to God as we do. Some, when the rapture happens and Christ comes back for the second time, and or immediately, but they return to God and to the higher realms. But I've also talked to others who are really terrified of the thought of ending the mortal existence. And I can see both sides, but I'm very much, my personal thing is I'm okay. When the time comes, people will come and get me, and we will toddle off and return to the divine energy. And yes, I'll be sad. I always say in services and things, they grieve, spirit grieve the same way we do, because they grieve the fact that they're not here and they're not physical and they can't give you a hug, and just like we do. But yeah, it's a mixed thing for me. It's a mixed thing. Shelley's just, where's Shelley's comment? I've just seen it.
Here we go.
Maybe not where you're going, but what you exactly. It's the love that you're leaving behind, the loved ones you're leaving behind, because you never leave the love behind; it goes with you. But yeah, that's the thing for me. I think that even in our way of life, that's the thing in the back of your mind of, oh, I'm leaving all these people and they're not going to know whether I'm here or not. And yeah, unless they're within our way of life as well, and they know that you're going to come back and give them an earful of grief about what colour they've painted the bedroom and things when you've gone. But yeah, and I was very much like Dawny. I was sort of, I'd never found a religion or a faith that really sat with me. And I thought, I always had that doubt of, But what if you just blink out into nothingness? What if? And since I found first spiritualism and then Christian spiritualism, that's gone now, and I'm very much okay. Yep, I will find ways of letting people know that I'm here and I'm going to kick butt. Your thoughts, sir?
I actually think it's quite a big combination. And I certainly think when it comes to the fear of the physical death, religion hasn't helped in many, many ways. Certainly, absolutely agree with you, with Dawny. From my own personal perspective as a spiritualist, and having as a medium watched at close quarters the passing of someone I care about deeply, I'm not afraid. However, if I hadn't have found spiritualism and carried on down the path that I've been talking about this morning, actually, I probably would be, and it would be to do with my religion. And you know, one of the things that I talk about a lot. There's a lot of things I talk about a lot. We know I can't stop gabbing. But one of the things that I reference an awful lot, especially when it comes to the crossover between Christianity and spiritualism, is the harrowing of hell. And the story of the harrowing of hell, for those that don't know it, is where my mate Joshua Carpenter went down to hell and bust the locks and said, "You don't belong here. Get your backsides upstairs." The only reason that place existed was because people believed they should be there. And so I do think religion can, in the wrong hands, and certainly there's a lot of that about, make people fear the physical passing more unnecessarily than they should. Yes, I still fear leaving people behind. You know, I fear the loss of the people. I fear the pain that they will experience. But when it comes to the religious aspect, we can be driven into fearing what's going to happen to us. You know, and I think that does need addressing. I think that needs being of note and dealing with. Interestingly enough, Jen, my father-in-law was religious but was terrified of dying. He was C of E. I was delighted to see his spirit leave his body when he died and to see that his late wife met him. And that's something in the Church of England that you will not be told.
No.
Why? Because the Church of England is Anglicanism. And Anglicanism says you are in the ground. You are in the ground until the rapture, and then you either go down or you go up. Yeah. And it does create a huge fear factor. And the fact that our existence continues with but a blink, that relieves some of that burden. You know, and I was talking about my experiences, and had I gone down the route, it was actually with the Church of England that I would have gone down that route. And I would have been preaching to people these things, knowing full well from my own experiences in my youth that life does actually go on. And, you know, you've got to consider, what are the reasons people are scared of death? Leaving people behind, punishment, being stuck in some limbo, not being able to do anything at all. When you take the religious aspect out of it, you're removing a great many of those factors. And so, you know, I think whilst religion can certainly and should certainly help, I don't think it does in the way it should do, because once again, it's not the religion's fault, it's the people wanting to
Yep.
use that part of that belief to make life hell for people, so they must come to us. And I think that is a real big danger that we do need to address. And yeah, it
Yeah.
is as it's scared of the unknown. But I'm
Yeah.
so overjoyed to see some of the comments.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a few gone up that I thought, wow, okay, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
including, I will just bring the humour back in for a second
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
know
yeah.
I got it. I need a carpenter to fit my skeleton build. Just ask Jesus. Um,
Yeah, ask
he knew
your
what he was doing.
But I completely agree with what you said about religion using hell as a whip
Mm,
to beat people with. And if you do not do what we tell you to do, look what's going to happen to you, you know. And it's that what can I say, that holding on to power that we've got to get rid of, and people's fear of that. Oh, if I don't do X, Y, and Z, you know, we've said before, Nick, that there's only one person will judge you.
yeah,
Actually, that's yourself, because
yeah,
you pass, and God already knows what's in your heart.
yeah,
So the only person judging you and beating yourself up is yourself,
yeah,
and that's what it took me quite a long time to come to terms with.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh, Sharon. Oh, you said it one time.
Sharon, where's yes,
Yeah,
yes.
the one you got up on
The
screen.
one that I've put up, yeah. So I was
Yeah.
looking at Carradine. Yeah, I'm afraid of dying, but when my mum was dying, she said, "Mum," I told her to go with her mum, and the smile on her face said it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a little story to share about that. I had a friend who was afraid of dying, and he was an atheist.
I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the couple of days before he passed, he could see his mum, who had passed when he was 16, he was in his 30s. He could see his mum sitting in the corner of the room, and he turned round to his partner of the time and said, "I think Nick might be right. I think there is something that goes on after this." And so it does tie in with another starred continuation from Dorney, actually. So we're not going off the subject, we're just evolving the conversation, which is exactly what we're supposed to do, you know.
Exactly.
As a continuation to Kaza, do you think people who are in the phase of passing know what is happening to them? Do they know that they are leaving Earth? I would say that probably depends on how they pass. Certainly in the situation of my mate Andy, yeah, he knew. But he knew it
Yeah.
was going to come for a long time.
Yeah.
And, you know, for the most part, I would say, yeah, they do. But if it's sudden, if it's an accident, I would say it's possible, not always the case. What do you think, Tony?
I agree. I agree. And just to add to your story, my granddad passed with lung cancer, and it was hideous to watch. It was hideous. And he was absolutely terrified for months until the last few days, and he seemed to calm. And my dad rang and said, your granddad's passed. And I said, I know. And he said, he just looked in the corner of the room and said, "Oh, Dad," and went to sleep. So his
Yeah.
father had come to take him. But I've given messages from people who have had sudden deaths and chosen to transition, and I don't know what exactly happens. I can't articulate it properly, but I was given a message from a young chap who'd had a motorcycle accident, and he came to me and said, "It's all right. Dad took me before I felt anything." So I don't know exactly what's going on there, but he said I didn't feel anything. My dad took me before. So maybe the higher realms know something's going to happen. But I don't think, in terms of you yourself knowing, I don't think you know it's going to happen. I don't think there's any
No,
anticipation of it. But I
no.
think they know.
Yeah,
They know, and they do all they can to protect you from what's going to happen.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's some beautiful comments going up.
Yes, there
I'm
is.
slightly distracted by them actually, because it's like,
Yeah,
I wish we could get everybody on screen to talk themselves, because it's an amazing conversation going on.
it really, really is. And I've done that one. I've done that one.
I'm trying to keep up, but
Um,
they're just going so quick.
and yeah, I mean,
It's
they know
hideous.
we're suffering. They know we're suffering, so they will do their best to help.
Yeah.
Um, and as was said, I think it was Dawny who said, the pain's gone. The
Mm,
pain is gone the instant, because there is no physicality. The pain is gone, and they then, considering, even if it was minutes, months, or years of pain, they now have an eternity of no pain.
yeah, yeah,
You
and
know,
it's beautiful, but
yeah,
it's also, sometimes I've had communicators come and say it took them a little while to sort things out in their own mind, if you like, because
yeah,
of all the transition was. So if it was quick and unexpected, there can be a little bit of a what the heck just happened. But I heard this strange story of, oh, if you've had cancer, you go to a hospital and have it healed when you transition, and I'm like, huh? There's nothing to heal.
yeah.
There's nothing to heal. But if that's how they've put it to you, then that.
And I've heard this, and I've questioned it myself, and I questioned Gordon. Whenever you know what it's like, whenever something comes up, and you think, really, what? I ask Gordon,
Yeah,
and the way it was explained to me, so humor me on this a second, because this is me still trying to work it out. I will say, however, I've just seen a quick comment that I must reference. Sam,
yeah, yeah,
dementia, sea
yeah.
spirit. I was always told that someone with dementia experiences what can only be described as a day pass to the world of spirit.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and so they are able to communicate and connect with the world of spirit, and see the world of spirit to help protect the mind.
Also mediums,
Yes.
but because I've given 3 or 4 messages where they have absolutely validated that that is the person I was with, but they were still here, but in care homes
Yeah.
for people with dementia. And it's almost like once they reach a certain stage, the spirit world take half of it
Yes.
and they straddle, so
Yeah.
that they aren't suffering the pain of understanding what's happening to them.
Yes. Yes.
And
So
it's, yeah,
I'm just going to reboot my camera, because for some reason I seem like I'm lagging. Am I lagging?
just a tad, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just going to reboot my camera.
Okay.
Oh, that didn't work.
I don't know what's, you were fine, and then you seem to just drift a little bit out of sync.
Can you still hear me?
I can. I
Right,
can.
I'm just gonna completely reboot my camera while I talk. Nobody will mind not seeing my face.
No, no.
And probably make things feel a little bit easier. So yeah, I was going to say about the hospital ward thing, and then remind me of my friend who had dementia, because it kind of ties in really, really nicely. And I'm just trying to talk and click at the same time, so bear with me if I sound a little distracted from time to time. So basically, what happened was, it's still not working. I'm going to switch cameras. Bear with,
That's fine.
because it's really, really distracting. Integrated camera on.
Oh, Chrissy. Ouch. Chrissy Wheatley said, your tongue is not lagging, Nick. Oh,
neither is my camera either. Thank you for that. Love you.
But yeah, hospital ward.
Yes. So I asked Gordon, because that befuddled me, and he said, well, of course, you realise that when you meditate, you meet us in a halfway house. That is the etheric realm. Now, there are some people in the world who struggle to let go of the physical condition, struggle to let go of the physical world when they pass. And we need that halfway house to help the adjustment from the physical world to the spiritual world. So there are places that would be of spiritual healing for the benefit of that spirit, and a way of transitioning into the spiritual world. What better place would be symbolized than a hospital ward? So these hospital wards are etheric duplicates that are made use of from the spiritual realm to help with that transition, not just physically but spiritually too. And that's how it was explained to me. And I had that
makes sense.
That it makes sense moment. So and I know you were joking, Chrissy, otherwise I wouldn't have put the comment on the screen. You know, although I probably would have done anyway, to be fair.
Sam Neal says he's given messages from those with dementia as well. It's very strange because they do feel just like a communicator, and it's really, really odd.
And I've got to say, I have been given a message by someone with dementia.
Wow.
I went and Sam, I met Sam last July, I think it was, down on the South Coast. I hope you got your message that I sent you in the week. It took me long enough. But yeah, I went to visit my granddad in a care home, and there was this lady with dementia, and everyone was, oh, you know, be careful, you know, watch out for her. She's, you know, she's a little bit, what's it, bless her. Okay. So anyway, I'd just been to Circle. I had just been to Circle, sat in the development circle, and been working with Gordon, and he'd given me this little bubble of light to use as a battery, basically. Whenever I was feeling low, make use of this, he said. Make use of this, he said. So anyway, she comes walking down the stairs, and she clocked me instantly. And she made a beeline for me, and there were these in-breaths, and oh, here we go. And she looked me square in the face, and she said, they call me nuts, but you know I'm not, don't you? And I know where this is going. I went, no, darling, I don't. I know you're not. And she says, yeah, you see, they told me that you talk to them as well. And I went, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And she just looked at me, and she then looked down at my chest, and she went, mind you, you are looking tired. I hope you're going to make use of that. That blew my mind. That really, really blew my mind. So yeah, I totally agree with you, Sam. And nice to see you on here, darling, again.
And Sam's going for dinner, otherwise the children will turn wild. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
See you on the catch up then.
Yeah. See you on the catch up. We'll carry on.
Oh. Jen Stevenson. I was told that my brother-in-law who committed suicide was being cared for by them. I was worried about him. It doesn't matter what you believe. It don't matter.
It really, really doesn't.
I've had that before, because I don't disclose the method of transition when they've done that. All I'll say is they chose their time to cross.
Yeah.
And the family you could see when they knew he was coming through, because he gave me some very specific information that they knew. And they said, I was really worried because we all come to church and we all know, but he didn't. So I wondered if he would get left behind. And I said, No. It's fine. You know, it doesn't matter. That there's still a soul that needs help, so they come and yeah. Could that be why I saw a living person in my circle meditation? Absolutely. Yeah. It is, and it's a very strange phenomenon when somebody comes to you after a reading and says, yeah, that sounded like my mum, but my mum's still in it.
Yeah.
The strangest one was a lovely lady from Scotland, was in a church in Bridlington, and I was giving her this message, and I said, and I've got to give you Elvis, but Vegas Elvis with a white catsuit and the sparkles, and he's singing whatever song it was. And she showed me a video of a mum the previous visit, and they had an Elvis impersonator, and she was non-communicative, but she was singing along and bopping and boogieing to that song. And I was like, that was the first time it had ever happened to me, and I was a bit like, oh shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, I'm not saying your mum's going to go. I'm not saying. And she says, no, I know. She says, I often think they have a foot in either realm just to ease the burden of what's going on.
Absolutely.
And I said, I in no way want you to think that I am saying your mum's going to be over there soon. And God love her, as far as I know, she's still going.
Yeah. And it reminds me, there was a ballerina who had dementia. There was this beautiful video of her.
Seen it.
Yes. They started playing the music when she danced to Swan Lake. And the next thing you know, she was back.
The arms and yeah.
Because beautiful. We use memory links.
Yeah.
Memory links. The dogs are agreeing too.
There's somebody moving into the caravan next door for a holiday, and it's obviously like, there are people next door, Daddy.
I know. So yeah, I completely agree that dementia definitely it's a bus pass. They get automatic mediumship, no sitting in circle, no development, no programming either. It's just automatic mediumship.
Yeah, I'm just reading Julie Caswell's the book The Blue Island, written by Automatic Writing from W. Stead. I will have to make a note of that and have a look, because
I'm gonna bookmark it so that we can come back to it and Google it afterwards.
Good,
useful. And welcome to the show, Joanne. Nice to see you, darling. Yeah. Now, here's the question. You've given me a couple of readings spot on. Last one you gave was September the 14th, and my dad rang me the day after not talking to us for 2 years. You even said he used to ride the wall of... Wow.
Oh,
lovely.
Cool.
Nice. And welcome, Sharon. Hi.
Yes. Hi.
So yeah, I mean, it's really, really important. There was a mention there briefly about what happens to someone who commits suicide. And it's very, very... Now, this is the thing. Many religions say that there is punishment for that action. There is no punishment for that action, because those individuals need the care. You know, and this is not the first time I've said this week. When someone is such a position that they need to do what it is that they're doing, that's the time they need the most support, and Spirit will make sure that they get the support. There is a little bit of a caveat to that I was told from Spirit. When it comes to changing the date of our passing on our own terms, sometimes we do it for a specific reason, because we want something. That will be the one thing that we don't get instantly. You know, if it's a connection with someone who is in the world of spirit. They will come and meet you and take you over, but you won't get to spend a lot of time with them
No.
until you have realized that there is more to life than just that one individual.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you'll still see them, but you won't get to spend the eternity with them until such a time as you realize that they were not the be all and end all of your life.
Yeah.
That's
I
not
agree with that.
punishment. That's not punishment.
That's growth.
That's growth. And
Growth.
so, yeah, you'll still be able to talk to them on the phone, you know, spiritually speaking, but you don't get to spend a lot of time with them because you need to understand that there was more to life than that individual.
Yeah.
And so that growth and that lesson. So, you know,
Yeah.
it might sound like punishment, but yeah, absolutely. It's
It's
growth
healing.
and it's healing.
It's healing. Because that wasn't you making that decision, that was grief. That's the way I see that. That was grief making that decision because you were in such a state of despair.
Yes.
That's what you wanted. And yeah, you have to take that step back and understand that there was so much more. And especially when there's family involved, because I've worked with people through bereavement care where you have to say to them, or you don't have to say to them, but I've said to them, imagine your significant other sat in that chair over there. Rupert's joining in.
Yeah.
Shut up. What would they be saying to you now if you're saying to them, I want to come and I want to be with you and I want to, and they all say, you've got to look after the kids and you've got to see them grow up for me. And it's like, yeah, you see it, you understand it, and yet you've still got that, but I want to be with them.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's the grief that makes the decision, not you.
Yes.
And I think that's the lesson you've got to learn. Daniel, yeah. They do. Your loved ones will come and pull you out of that hole. And that is how I describe it. That's how it's shown to me by these people, that you are in a deep pit of despair and the only light you can see is the divine light. So that's where you want to go. And Daniel, I feel for you, mate. I feel for you. I can't say understand because I don't know. No one person can understand another person's mind, but I've struggled with mental health in my past, and I've actually sat with tablets on the table in front of me and thought it's got to be easier than this. And this little voice in the back of your head goes, no.
Yeah.
No.
And
so
I have been there myself too in my own way.
I didn't want to disclose that, but
no, that's fine. I'm quite happy to.
But it is the thing of you have to find that one thing to hold on to just almost like a fish on a hook. You've got to hang on to it and be pulled across and just let the world go by and let it happen. And yeah, it's family that always pull me out of that dark space. It's family. It's Ben, it's Michael, it's my mum and dad, it's everybody. And it's just you hold on to that and just think it'll come. Things will be easier. Cloud. Hi,
Cloud.
Sorry, just spotted Cloud.
There are moments, and certainly from my experience, and I know that you agree with me on this. There is one phrase that is used to describe suicide, and I always describe it as the show me someone who's never contemplated suicide before. When the phrase comes, it's selfish. Because when people describe suicide as being selfish, the person in that position believes that you are going to be better off without them. And I've been there. I've thought, and there has been that moment where yes, the thought of my family that I'm going to leave behind has almost pulled me back. But then I've sat there and thought, but they will actually be. I've been so low, and you get so low. They are going to be better off without me. They are going to live a better life with my absence. And that is really, really hard.
It's that I am bogging them down. This
Yeah.
thing in my head is making me so miserable to live with that it would be easier for them if I wasn't here. And it's not selfish. It's not
No.
selfish. And the other phrase about suicide that I hate is the coward's way out.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I can't,
Yeah.
without swearing, I can't put into words
Yeah.
how much
I'm
that
with you.
frustrates me, because having been in that mindset myself and having had spirit so close to me in a meditation, I felt the rope and I felt the drop. I felt everything. That was not a cowardly way out. That was that young person so desperate to be out of mental anguish and pain that that's what they chose to do, and it's awful. So I would never judge any person here or on the other side who has thought or has decided that that is the way that they need to go. I just, before we move, I just want to go to a couple of comments and just say,
yes,
Nick and I were talking before the show today and said, no idea what's going to happen today. Don't know what we're going to talk about, but there's something that, and then there's 2 or 3 people who have said, this is the conversation I needed to hear today. And God bless you all for sharing, because it's we can share, but for you to open up and share as well is just touching and wonderful. And Michael, just know that if ever, and Dorney, anybody who's on here or who is watching this on a day that isn't the 5th of the 5th, 23, if you need to reach out, message somebody, reach out, even if it's us. If I don't pick up messages straight away, I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Ditto. Somebody will get back to you. If you need something, just reach out. And I'm getting emotional because this is another thing we were talking about, or about this is more than a show. This is more than 2 people waffling for the sake of it. This is now becoming a community, a church, a something, a congregation of its own, because we are still talking with a spiritual religious aspect. Faith, sorry, not religion, it's faith. And yes, because the worst thing you can say to somebody who is suffering, because it's as real as a broken arm, it's as real as appendicitis, it's as real as, and I want to say it, cancer. It really is, because it can eat you alive.
And a damn sight harder to heal.
Yeah. The worst thing you can say to them is, oh, God, just go for a walk, get some fresh air, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't even face getting out of bed. So you're telling me to go out for a walk and take some fresh air and I'll be fine.
Oh, no.
Get over it.
Take a few deep breaths, you know. It is
of it. It's not.
As my grandfather would say, it's a load of old bull manure.
And
this is the thing, though. You know, talking does help with people who understand you and aren't going to judge you. And so often we find that in faith groups, judgment is all you ever find. But that's not exclusive to faith groups, and that's really important. It really, really isn't.
And mental health is not weakness. It's not a lack of being able to cope at all. So if you're sitting there suffering with a family around you or whatever, or on your own, and you think, but I should be able to go to the shops, I am weak because I can't do it. You're not. It's you are suffering. That illness has got hold of you, and there's nothing you can do about that until it works through and might pass. And the thing that always helps me is, and we were just talking about this as well before, we have somebody who does suffer and they get lonely and they come and sit in our house. They may not speak. They'll say, hello, do you want a cup of tea? Yeah, please. Make a cup of tea. And they sit and watch telly with us a couple of hours. And then it's like, right, my bus is coming in half an hour, so I'm going. And that's it. But just having somebody that you know is there, whether it be, I know if I drop a instant message, or I know if I just send a text, they will respond at some point. That's enough sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's not weak. Don't ever please think you are weak, because
in actual fact, I'm going to change the paradigm.
Go on.
Far from being weak, the one thing I will say to everyone who has been feeling like that, and I know from personal experience this week that there's been a lot of people. I have had conversations with a number of people, both who are commenting and who have not been commenting and are not online. Far from people with mental health issues being weak, I would say that people with mental health issues are some of the strongest people I know, and I can prove it. We are spiritualists. We like to prove what we're saying. I said that last night. I'm going to prove it. Because if you are hearing these words, you are getting up, you are fighting every day, you are standing tall and strong, in spite of the lack of understanding and help, in spite of how you feel, you get up and you do, you exist, you live. So aside from being weak, you are some of the gladiators, the warriors, the fighters, and some of the strongest warriors, gladiators, and fighters I have ever met. So far from being a weakness, you find a strength through mental health issues, and I know this because you're still here. So
you are, and sometimes just opening your eyes and getting a cup of tea is enough for the day.
Yeah,
that's enough. That's an achievement.
Yeah,
and you've got to acknowledge it, because it can kick your ass. It really can. And I'm sorry to put it like that, but it does. It kicks your ass. And just getting up and having a wash, brushing your teeth, and going back to bed is enough. Oh, yes. But God love her, she's home now with people.
And she's home, yes.
She's
and
home.
She knows how much she was cared for by the amount of mail she got, I know.
And messages last night.
And
I was starting to think,
yeah.
oh, hang on, it's the Hannah show. Yep, it's lovely. I did exactly. I read that. It's touching. Yeah. It's touching.
And I meant what I said. It could have been an animal. It could have been an animal. We sometimes have to shift the paradigm, and you know, it could very well have been an accident, an animal, and there's a reason I use the word gladiator. Keep soldiering on, and this is the thing.
I'll use Winston Churchill's words. Keep buggering on.
Yeah, do you know? I often say KBO, and people look at
KBO.
Just Google it, love.
KBO.
KBO. There was another comment that I wanted to. Sharon.
Yeah.
Sharon Calladine. Sorry, my mouse is playing up. There is an old phrase that I use that is exactly the same, means the same thing. It's just probably a little bit more poetic and a little bit up itself, I suppose. But I stole it from Babylon 5, which is why I use it. Some people say, is there anything worse than being all alone in the night? And I say, yes, being all alone in a crowd.
Yeah.
And you do feel like that. You do feel like that. Being alone in a crowd can be worse.
It can. I mean, there's been a couple of times, and I'll have been walking around shops with Michael and a couple of other people, and we'll be walking around Primark, and all of a sudden that is just too much. Just having that many people around you can be so overwhelming. And Yeah, this conversation suddenly taken a turn into places I didn't expect. You
I
know.
know, but I tell you what
Well,
else.
phew.
Today's comments. Let's face it. We always said we wanted this to be driven by the community. The answer is being driven by the community because look, you are all in some way, on some level, have at some point. We all have felt like that. To know that we are not alone, to have we proved that we are not alone, is part of the
Mhm.
answer.
Yeah.
And to hear all of the comments, I know it soothes my heart a little bit every now and again,
Yeah.
breaks it sometimes as well, I'll be honest, but
Mhm.
we've all been there, we've all been in that position. And Minty, hi Minty,
Yeah. Yeah.
we
That
are
last
all
one, spirit.
spiritual. We're all spirit having a human experience, and we are all united in that. And we do need people that understand. I wouldn't necessarily say like me because you hardly get a word in edgeways. Having said that, perfect example, really. I had a reading with someone a couple of days ago it ended up not being a reading. We were there for 2 hours.
Wow.
You could count the words that I said, or at least the sentences in that 2 hours, on these hands. I said Jack because what I did was the most important thing. I sat there, shut up, and listened.
Yeah.
And
Did you listen or did you hear?
both.
Both.
Well
Thank
remembered.
you.
Well, yeah.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. That was a
Yeah,
couple of weeks ago, that one.
it certainly was. It
Yeah.
certainly was. But yeah,
Daniel, thank you. Thank you to you, and thank you to everybody who's on here
yes,
for making Daniel feel like that, because I know Daniel's known Michael's family for years and years and years, and he sort of came along this by accident, and here we are, Daniel. Hey,
that sums it.
Yeah,
Yeah, two
yeah.
ears. Absolutely, absolutely. So, thank you everyone so much. We literally was like, oh, what's it going to be? Oh, we're probably going to end up talking about the royal family for about 2 hours, or but no, we did mention it briefly, but spirit requires we do as we are told, and I say it so often, I'm reminded that I have to say it absolutely now. Spirit requires we are, everyone watching is living spirit. Your requirements are met. And I know Tony keeps muting the dogs, but they've got their opinion too, and they're certainly making themselves heard today. Bless them heart. And this is so important that I was talking to someone this afternoon. I have a private sitting. I know she's watching. Hello, private development group with one person. It's a 1-to-1, and we were talking about what is philosophy. Philosophy should get you thinking. It should postulate a premise. It should then make you think about that, not give you an answer, but encourage you to go and find an answer that fits your situation, because every situation is different, fit your purpose because every purpose requires a different tool. And that is what philosophy should do. It should postulate a premise, make you think and go and find an answer, not tell people what they should think and believe. And there is no one simple answer other than my favorite one: just be kind.
Nice, I was going to say there.
Yeah,
but yeah, nice, kind.
Just be nice. Just be kind. And you go and we'll play Who Let the Dogs Out for him when he comes back. Community is so important, and there are great communities created from spiritual groups and help people to not feel alone and help like-minded. Absolutely. Being human is learning to be. Completely agree.
Yeah.
We should open up and be allowed to express how we feel, but we are scared of the reactions, so we hide the feelings. Yeah, and that is
Yeah.
definitely being all alone in a crowd. And
Yeah.
it's it's 2023, for crying out loud. We're supposed to be gone from the days of judgment and ECT when it comes to mental health. Are we? God, are we? No, we're not.
No,
There
no,
is
we're not.
such, and this is the other part of the warrior, the strength, and the gladiator, to make ourselves heard, to be heard, to help, to reach out, to listen, to hear, to make use of these rather than that. But also when we do make use of that, to let people know that this issue is never going to be away, and this issue is never going to be hidden, so long as there is just one person prepared to stand up and be counted. Then there will always be hope. Um just yeah.
Yeah.
My babe, I pretend I'm okay to my family, otherwise they get cross with me. Truth to be told, I need a brimming miracle. You are the miracle.
You are. Yeah.
I've got to say, I know Shelley. I've known Shelley not a very long time, but I've seen her on a journey. As many of you on here today that I know have been on this journey. I have seen people go from fragile, weak, broken individuals who have still just KBO'd, who have fought for themselves and what they believe, and are beautiful, wonderful, powerful creatures who still don't believe it, but are getting there. And the most important thing to recognize is that absolute strength that it's the end of Ulysses, Tennyson's Ulysses. Though we are not now that strength which in days of old moved earth and heaven, that which we are, one equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, yet strong in will. Strive, seek, find, and never yield. That one sentence has saved my life so many times. And I've got to say, diamonds shining out in the light. Look at where diamonds come from. Look at where diamonds come from.
Pressure.
So deep within the ground, created by pressure and heat, and made into something beautiful. Absolutely. Thank you, Minty, my man.
Yeah. There's some beautiful comments going on.
There really is.
And Daniel, add me if you need to vent. It's so true. You just need that one person to hear you and to reach out in the dark.
Yeah, absolutely. A great line from Pink Floyd. Do you know Pink Floyd, one of their albums has got Ely Cathedral not 4 miles away from me on their cover. It's the one with the two heads facing inwards. If you look inside the mouths, the gap in the middle like that, like a tablet, Ely Cathedral's there. So I always think of home when I think of Pink Floyd. So thank you, Minty. Donny says, if I can get my mouse to stop playing about. This is such a deep conversation. I'm getting emotional. You are so right. It takes just that one person not to give up hope, and you keep being the gladiator. Absolutely. After dark night is the bright day, and it really does get darkest before dawn.
Division bell. That's the one.
Thank you, Minty, my man. Thank you. Absolutely, yes. Well, it really is important to discuss these things. But do you know what I've always found is really important as well? To bring in the humour. This is why I'm such a nut job. This is why I'm such a nut job, because I think it's important to have a lark, muck about, and make someone laugh once they have cried.
Precisely.
And
Are you going to reveal?
I am. There's been a lot going on this week that has got me excited and looking forward, including Babylon 5, the animated TV movie, is done, in the can, wrapped and ready and coming out. I will come back to that. You can put a plaster on a cut or a graze, but you can't put a plaster on mental health. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I totally agree. But I like to make people laugh. It's one of my gifts, even if it is just at my own expense. In actual fact, I don't care if it's at my own expense. It will be done. Oh, I actually am going to strip. Last week, I made a promise. Now, he's a bit of a busy chap, so I don't know whether he's about, but there used to be back in, the date for the Babylon 5 is announced next week by Warner. I am under the impression it will be at Comic-Con in June or July, though. So watch out for that prediction. So yes, there is a medium that I used to work with who does come on here on a Friday afternoon from time to time. His name is Tim Abbott, very good friend of mine, and he had a catchphrase. And his catchphrase was, "Say yes, Tim." So I promised, and I did. I had a T-shirt made. And it's back to front, but never mind. It does say yes, Tim, or it could say Mitt, depending on whether you're reading it back to front. I had got the camera set up properly, but yes, I've got my Yes Tim T-shirt. However,
Fabulous.
There is more, because it was mentioned last week that one of us here does have a bit of a catchphrase himself. When he's No, but when he's filling in the blanks, it's da 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 da. So in the post tomorrow. Oh, hang on.
Is it fallen off?
In the post tomorrow will be. Da 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 da. Oh, it's not back to front for everyone at home. That's brilliant. I'm glad about that, because I was a bit concerned.
Yeah.
It's a good job it flipped. But there's more, because these were made by a wonderful man with a similar name. Tony Spinks has made these for us as a trial test. We also talked about making T-shirts for the family club community that is the Spirit Line community that you are. They're coming. Spirit Line T-shirts will be available very, very soon for all of you to grab hold of and remind yourselves of what time you should be at home on a Friday afternoon. So we are going to have literally, like people say, you know, a cult is formed by opinions and then uniforms. It's not a uniform. It's something to wear if you want.
And you don't have to buy one. It's not.
But yeah, you can actually, you don't have to buy one, because it's not about, you know, it won't be making any money for us. It's something keeping it cheap so that if you want one, you can have one. So if you want a Spirit Line 2 Revs T-shirt, stay tuned. It will be here soon. Tony says next week. Oh yes, I'd love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to do that. Tony says. So yeah, we will have Spirit Line T-shirts, believe it or not. Oh, in actual fact, Tony says next. It wasn't the T-shirt that's going to say it. That's actually what Tony says. it will be up and running next week.
Yeah, fab. And Daniel says, "Do you do a 3XL? He's a fat lad."
Well, Eunice, would you ask that the gentleman and then type a comment? Do you go up to 3XL? Excuse me.
And Karen wants one.
Karen wants one.
Kazar wants one.
Kaz wants one. Kaz wants one. Bless you. So it's a bit of fun. It's a way of
And
bringing us together.
We
for a
get
laugh.
nothing. We get nothing out of it.
We made. There was an option available to that, but you know what? It's about the fun and the community. So
Up to 5. Who is that? Is that
that you, Tony? Is that you, Tony? Or has Eunice's Facebook just literally disconnected from StreamYard?
Knowing Facebook and StreamYard, it could be either option, really.
Yeah, but it looks like if that is the man himself.
And Karen wants a daddy t-shirt.
Absolutely.
I never realised I said it. I didn't realise until.
Yeah, it is. It was Tony.
Yeah.
So yeah, it goes up to 5XL, which is awesome. So yeah, sweet. We can have a bit of
It's wonderful. And then we need to organise a Spirit Line get together somewhere sort of midway in the middle of the country where we can all wear our t-shirts.
We can even do a competition. Well, for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, we've got the Facebook page, Spirit Line Continue the Debate. It's facebook.com/groups/2revs. That's TWO, not to the figure. Post your pictures of you in your t-shirt.
Yeah.
Beaming.
And if you go on holiday, take your t-shirt.
Take your t-shirt with you. Yes.
Take a photo of t-shirts in exotic places.
Absolutely.
Mine will be with me. I'm telling you now. I'm sorry. That's
as far as I
go. Or on the whatever it is of July, outside Ely Cathedral. Because I'll take a photo because I'll be down.
Absolutely. Yes. So everyone in the area who gets one, Tony is going to be surfing in the flesh. Bring your t-shirts down. We'll all arrange a time we can meet up before the service outside Ely Cathedral. That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
27th of July.
27th of July.
27th of July, I will be in Littleport.
Littleport
is exotic. It's definitely something, Nicola. It's definitely something.
Skegness, Withensea.
Michael, that's hilarious.
No, mine is a large.
And mine. I wish.
But there you go.
Karen, it may be a bit of a trek, darling. It may be a bit of a trek.
Littleport is where I am, which is about an hour and a half on a jumbo jet. It's an hour and a half on a jumbo jet, darling. It is literally the center of the arse of the universe. I mean, East Anglia.
No, that's Roma. That's Roma. So, can us at a distance get a t-shirt? You certainly
there will be a website attached. Look, Tony, the other Tony,
not me.
He works for a company. They used to own it actually, but they work in this company where they can create a website attached to their website where you can actually have it ordered, printed, posted straight to you, and I believe it's going to be 15 quid.
That's not bad for a good quality t-shirt.
Yeah, and they are good quality. They are lovely t-shirts. In actual fact, I will say that the shirt that I wear with the church logo on, they made that. It's the embroidered one, so it's a little bit more. But
Oh, fancy schmancy.
I know. But they will be available when the Independent Spiritualists Alliance website gets up and running, and we officially open up to membership.
Yay!
Which is another thing coming too.
Yeah.
And it is all about building communities, not bank balances.
Listen, I'm not going to bleat on about it, but we pay for StreamYard, we pay for things to get the church going out of our own pocket. And it ain't about that at all for me. It's about the joy of getting people, like-minded people, together for what's just happened, this miracle that has just happened. What I saw Nick get emotional, I was getting emotional as well, as people's comments were going up and people were reaching out and sharing things. And it's just amazing. That's what we do it for. If Nick and I had to sit here in complete silence and just let you guys get on with it,
we would
do it. We'd do it. Absolutely, we would do it. And it's fantastic. And that's why, again, coming full circle again to before we were live, I was saying to Nick, I feel like I'm on the edge of something and I don't know what it is, but I feel a change. I feel spirit pulling me and I don't know where it's going to go. And I did it before. I was going to be ordained a few years ago now, well before lockdown, and something stopped me. I needed to do some more soul searching, and I went off and I got involved with different churches and different organizations who think they own spiritualism, but they don't. And when they said to me, to become a member, you have to acknowledge that you hold no tenets of any other religious organization. And I said, what does that mean? And they said, Christ was a prophet. And I said, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Christ was the Son of God, sent down to show us the way to God. No. And I said, hang on a minute. No. I accepted Christ as my savior a long time ago, and I ain't gonna do that. So I came back to doing online stuff, and then we went, oh, hello, Nick, it's you again.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, I've got a shirt on with this little white collar, and
absolutely,
it is the best thing I've done in a long, long time. And it's about the ministry, bringing people to their own relationship with God and Christ in whatever form that takes. And you guys epitomize what that is, because I know for a fact there are people on here who have very little faith in anything, who are spiritualists, who are Church of England, who are Catholic. I've even talked to people of the Muslim faith and other Eastern faiths, and it's, hi, come in, welcome, sit down, have a cup of tea. Because we don't care. We don't care. And that was one of the things when Nick first proposed doing the Independent Spiritualist Alliance, I said, as long as it's open to all.
Yes.
Because when I say at the beginning of a service, welcome everyone, I mean welcome everyone.
Yes.
Whether thou art religious, not religious, of man of faith, not man of faith, atheist, like Daniel's just said.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bi, trans, whatever. That's fine.
If you've got a spirit within you, you are welcome. End of.
And Daniel, atheism is often said to be people of no faith. No, you have a faith that there is no God. It's whatever. Yes, Tim.
Yes, Tim. Yes, Tim. Absolutely. Let me move the mic. There you go. Yes, Tim. There we go.
Lean towards the window, mate. Lean towards the window. You were hidden by The Tim.
Oh, hang on. Let me move it. There you go. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Yes, Tim.
I love that. I love
I've known Tim all of my spiritual life. He was one of the mediums that actually proved survival to me. And you know, we have different understandings as far as the practicalities of the human side of I am flashing a bit too much. We are members of different organizations, but yes, but as you can see, we have a laugh with each other. We have a giggle with each other because we're friends. And you know, all of the paperworky side, I don't care about. All I care is that people are good to each other, and if they're not, we have to understand the reason why and work on it. You know, and you know, Tim does a lot of good works. You know, Tim does a lot of good works, and I you know, it's really, really important. The reason we set up the Independent Spiritualist Alliance was for the benefit of as many people as possible who felt excluded. To an extent, we felt excluded, which is why we did what we did. And I've broken my earphone and it's stuck in my ear. Bear with me. It's out. Don't worry. No trip to the A&E for me.
I've got something stuck in an orifice.
Careful.
On your desk.
Stephanie. You know, all of the organizations are what their people are. I have some really good friends who have some wonderful. That guy that I talked about earlier, who saw his mum, atheist. I've had no end of great conversations with atheists, and you know, whether you're a Christian spiritualist, a spiritualist, an atheist, you know, a Timbuktuist, you know, a First Baptist of the Coke of Pepsi, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. There are stories of spirit communication in all walks of life and in all religious belief. There is somewhere we can all unite. Absolutely. And do you know what? I say this so often. You know, people say, and there is a statement, if religion disappeared and science disappeared off the face of the earth right now, when we rediscover science, it would come back exactly the same, but religion wouldn't. I disagree with that statement. The important bits, the bits where we all match up, the bits where we can all unite, they would come back and they would be the same. And that is the truth of it. I am a Christian spiritualist. Tony is a Christian spiritualist. Together with Alan Sutton, Jeanette Bolton, Barbara Price, we founded the Independent Spiritualist Alliance. But it doesn't mean to say that you've got to be a Christian spiritualist to be a member. You just got to be you.
You've just got to be
nice. You. You know, you just be nice. We have rewound history a little bit on some of the practicalities, the principles in which we follow. We do include the 7 principles, but we also include the ways of living and the 10 spiritual commandments that were given to Emma Hardinge Britten by Spirit. Because although the 7 principles are good, it was a summary of those 20 principles, really. And so rather than lose to history the depth of that work that she did, we've included them as part of our tenets so that they can be remembered and made use of. But they're not, you must follow these rules to be a member. It's, you want to be a member? I think it's because you follow these rules. Have a look. These are your personal vocations. And I don't think there's anything that any of them that people can disagree with. In particular, my favorite one, that which does not agree with your higher ideals, set it aside, remembering the tenets of life. Just be kind. And I think that really, really matters. And so, yeah, everyone is the living spirit. And I think that together if we focus on what we agree on rather than that which we disagree on, the world can be a better
Absolutely.
place.
That's the thing for me is politically at the minute and internationally at the minute, people are focusing far too much on what makes us different. I think we need to, as Joanne says, wrap ourselves in the heart of the divine, love unconditionally, and focus on what makes us the same. The fact that we are all struggling at the minute.
Yeah.
We're all thinking, do I make a cup of tea or do I put the heating on for 20 minutes? Because that's the decisions some people have got to make at the minute, is literally, do I heat or do I eat?
Yeah.
We're all going through SH1T at the moment. And if we all just focus on what makes us the same, life would be wonderful. And yes, Daniel, absolutely never mistake my kindness for weakness.
And in actual fact, go back to what we said earlier. Once again, sometimes you actually have to be really strong to be kind in the face of what you receive.
Absolutely. And the next one as well. Well,
yeah,
the principles, they're not laws. They're not set. They're not there to say, if you don't do all of these things, you can't play in our playground. No. Take the bits that mean to, like I say with readings, and I said it last night, I believe. You take the bits out of it that mean something to you.
Yes.
And as long as you are respectful, you are nice, and you agree that we all are allowed to have our opinions, welcome to the club. And I know what Nick's going to do now. Absolutely.
Yes, Tim. Yes, Tim. I have been waiting 25 years to do that. I really have. I really have.
But yeah, that's why the things that happened before we set up this independent spiritualist alliance cut so deep for me, because I thought I'd found somewhere where we could all be, and we could all. I'm getting a bit emotional at that, but I and some of the things that were said cut really deeply to me for lots of personal reasons.
Yes.
And I was a bit lost for a while, because I thought, wow, this has come a bit left field, and after making several requests for clarification, I thought, here we are again. I don't know what to do.
And I know that I've got to say it because I think it's important. I know you were concerned where Nick was going to end up on them.
Yeah.
A lot of people were.
I thought, wow, you've got a lot more years invested in this than me. And I was concerned that it would affect you in lots of different ways. And no matter what your decision had been at the time, Nick, I would have fully respected it. But I could no longer continue representing certain things that didn't resonate with me. So I had to distance. And no matter what the outcome, I would have respected your decisions. I knew what your decisions would be because I knew you as a person. And I thought, there is no way Nick will stand with this. And yeah, it was hard and it was tricky. And I understand why things took the time they did, and things had to be done in certain ways, because it was what it was. But I wish those people well, and I hope they are finding peace in their lives, and I hope that they come to the realization that what they said was a little bit like, wow, okay, you really need a little bit of enlightenment here, and I pray all the time that they find some peace in their lives, because they need it and they deserve it.
Yeah. No. This is the only time I'm going to say no, Tim.
No, Tim, I'm sorry.
I
It's
never would.
not.
No.
If people see that we did things differently, then that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
But what we've done in the name of spirit.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know if you were on earlier when I said both Nick and I feel at the moment that we are on a precipice and spirit are pulling. We don't know where it's going to go. Fabulous. I can't wait. It's been an exciting journey for the last 10 years for me, and longer for Nick. But it ain't about the group of bishops that came together. It was
it's about the people that need something.
It's this for me that
I'll be honest with you. I will say it right out. I haven't thought of it, and now you've mentioned it, I'm crapping myself. Because I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that. I would. No. And I do get the sentiment. Don't get me wrong. I get the sentiment behind it, and it's very kind of you, Tim. But no.
What I would want is people will look back at these videos and things and go, "Wow, look at those people! Look at the effect those people are having." These people. Because if you look back through the comments, Tim, at some of the conversation that happened earlier on before you joined, that is what the Independent Spiritualist Alliance is about. It ain't about us two chin-wagging and doing random shit. It's about it's about we are a mechanism to get people doing the work of spirit.
Yeah.
And it's the alliance that is important. It's not we facilitate. And that's all I ever want to be known as, a facilitator for conversation between these people and their loved ones, between these people on their own. As long as people talk and think, that's what's important. I want people to have the power of thought, the power of spirit, and I want people to look at what's going on in the world with different glasses on, to open their eyes to the truth that wherever people say those people are different, they are bad, shine a light. Shine a light and shout it out and say, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. People we have more similarities than differences. I'm on my soapbox again, and I was wrapping up. I really was. Honestly, I was. It's about calling out differences, and those. Tim, stop.
He's got a point, you know. Look, I'm with you. I really am. I think for me the most important thing is I don't care if we are remembered, so long as the message is remembered. I don't care what. I don't.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was struggling looking for
I
the
know.
word.
I know.
Like, no.
If the vehicle is remembered, it doesn't matter who was driving.
No, absolutely not.
You know, if I can look back in 100 years' time when we're up there and been on the spiritual equivalent of the Bahamas for, you know, a few years, if I can look down and see them, think, look at what everyone's doing, isn't that good?
Yeah,
I'll be happy.
Yeah,
you know,
if people are being nice and kind and respectful, we've done our job.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was just thinking, out of everything we've done, and we've been doing these now for a long number of weeks and months, this one today has touched me more than I think any other one we've done, because it really does. It did do today what we set out for, was for people to have conversation and to have a community where they feel safe. And and today's done it.
Yeah.
Today's done it, and job done. If we never ever do another one of these, job done. Job done today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Eunice, people are here because they appreciate the message. They appreciate the environment that you have created in the
Yeah.
chat. We've sat here, two talking heads, waffling. You've done the work. You really have. You've done the work. And yeah, and I'm trying to read Tim's, but it keeps moving up the screen.
Hang on, let's put him on the screen because
Thank you.
I had heard this. Yeah. Do you know that the Fox sisters pull out of promoting the spirit world and the raps because of the attention they were getting? But after discussing the situation with their mother, they continue to promote spirit. Thank God they did. Yes, absolutely.
I would never shy away from.
Oh God.
If people want to talk to us and want us to express ourselves because of what we do, that's fine. As long as they're talking about the message and not me, I will be happy. I would go on any television show, news channel, whatever, and talk about the work.
Yeah.
That's what's important for me. It's not about me.
Yeah.
And if it ever did become, oh, Nick and Tony are wonderful and they're doing da-da-da, that's when I would say to Nick, actually, I think I've come to the end of
we need to change the way we're working. Change the way we're working.
Because something's going wrong.
Yeah.
Because what we want to talk about is spirit and the work of spirit. And the fact that what I'm hearing at the minute is from spirit, what the hell is going on? What is this crap? This isn't a world we recognize. These aren't attitudes we want. There's something going wrong. And I don't know what the answer is. I really don't.
No.
I wish I did. But it's the same with the Rainbow Project. I see lots of parallels in what we're doing. And it's, hang on, why are we needed so badly? Because we shouldn't be. We should strive not to exist as a charity, the Rainbow Project, because the community should just be that. It should just be part of the community, and something is going wrong. Same with spiritualism and Christianity, that there's something wrong in the dynamic of the messages that are coming out from the synods and things aren't messages I recognize as anything my God would say.
Yeah.
Oh, you can get married somewhere else, but you can come in my house and be blessed. No, that's bullshit. Sorry.
Bull manure.
That's manure. No God that I recognize would say to anybody, oh, you can't get married in my house, but we'll do you a nice blessing and say, oh, aren't you nice? No, wrong. Whether it's between divorced people or gay people or trans people or whatever, blue people, pink people, whatever, my God would say, come into my house, get married. That's wonderful. You are expressing joy and love in each other's hearts. And that's fabulous. That's something I, as the divine, want to celebrate.
Yeah.
Here endeth the rant. Step off the soapbox, Tony. Keep it away before we're here for another 3 hours.
Yeah. And you know what? To sum it up, I've got to say, as Mum would say, just be nice. You know, I wonder where she's heard that before. What I can say is, what matters to me is, it would be nice to leave behind a world better than we found it. Not going to deny that. But what matters to me is this. We've shared our feelings of our darkest moments, and it was beautiful to release what we rarely talk about. That's what it's out. That's what it's about.
That there is job done.
Yeah.
Job done.
Like I could walk away and do nothing else ever again and know that today, this conversation, hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes of, let's sit down and yak, has helped somebody.
Yeah.
Job done.
Yeah.
Job done.
Yeah. And Facebook user, I never talk sense. I'm sorry. You've got the wrong person there, dear. Shut up, Rupert. That man is
For the
allowed
first
to be
time
in Parliament.
For the first time today, Tony, I am going to disagree with you on that one. You do talk a lot of sense. What I will say to people is, you are your power.
Yep.
You are your strength. You are the one who makes a difference to the world. And, I'm deliberately going to quote Babylon 5 just to bring the humor in before we go. The quiet ones change the world while the noisy ones take all the credit.
Yeah. Yeah. And
but please don't be quiet forever.
no.
Make your noise.
Go out in the world, shine a light, be fabulous, fart sparkles, job done.
Yeah.
Please go out there and shine the truth.
Here.
Never hide it. There you go. Nick,
Amen.
You watch too much TV.
Yes. I only watch the same program over and over and over again, so it don't really count. So Tony, where can people see you working next?
I will be at Bentley Spiritualist Church on Sunday. And then on Tuesday, I will be back down here at a place called Cottingham. And I am restarting my live services, but in a slightly different format.
Ooh, bit of a refresh.
I'm having a bit of a refresh and a rethink. So yes, it's not armies or politics. It's us that change the world and be counted. And if you're in a position where somebody is saying something to you and it doesn't feel right, it ain't right. It isn't right. Cottingham in, where am I? Hull, Humberside. Humberside. Yeah.
Humberside.
It's near Brough, apparently.
Excellent.
Yes, I shall be there.
Excellent. Yes.
What's your week look like?
Got some circles as always. My work continues on one-to-ones and groups online, so I'll be doing my circles next week. Of course, we're back in the village hall on Thursday, so it'd be nice to be going home, and we will be having the service then. And of course, 2 revs on Friday.
Yes, I've just spotted Chrissy, I think it is, Facebook user. At 27th of July, if people are free, I will be there. Jean will be there.
I'll be there.
Wearing my t-shirt.
Yeah, we'll all have them by then. So,
If people are there, I can recommend a very nice travel lodge just outside a little port.
Yes.
In a Shell a BP car park.
Yes. Used to be my BP. Yeah, it used to be. I used to run it.
It's very nice, very clean, very tidy. It's
very
lovely.
Nice.
Yep. So book in, and we'll all go and have a day out in Ely, and then go and do a service at this place that's run by this very lunatic man.
I've heard he's a bit of a nut job.
Yeah, his mother's lovely though. I love his mother.
Yeah, she is. She is.
She's a good egg. And the bingo, the raffle caller is wonderful. I love her.
She is. She certainly is, and she'll be all fully back up to speed and full strength by the time you get there. We know this because we send our healing thoughts too.
We do.
Well, friends, the time has come to say goodnight, for every conversation must end. But continue the debate. We've got a Facebook group page. Join in, chat, get involved, prompt us and get us ready for next week. Friends, thank you so much for your openness and your honesty in the chat pages there. It means the world to us that we can come on here and do something. But remember, you are your own strength, you are your own power, and united, the individuals in peace can indeed change the world. One soul, one move, one moment, and one expression at a time. So be bold, be brave, be brilliant, be you. And from me, God bless you. And as the saying goes, as we always do, it's good night from him.
And it's good night from me. Good night.
Good night. God bless.